If I told you that today's video was going to cover Pictish carvings, royal castles, pirates, witches, civil war, American Revolution, duels to the death, communists, industry and innovation to be proud of, and one of the greatest minds in Scottish history,
would you think I was talking about Kirkcaldy?
if you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. And if you enjoy this video, then give it a thumbs up, share it and watch the next one. In the meantime, let me tell you a story.
If I say Kirkcaldy, you probably think of coal mine grit and linoleum factory smells. And sure enough, as you come out of the train station, you meet a poem by Mary Campbell Smith called The Boy on the Train. Each verse ends with the boy asking, then confirming, then asserting that the next stop is Kirkcaldy. Till the last verse, and then he knows he's arriving. For I ken mysel, by the queer like smell, that the next stop is Kirkcaldy. Well, the smell of linoleum factories is gone today. But what does fill the air is a scent of pioneering. The number of times Kirkcaldy was a first in Scotland's history, because Kirkcaldy's history is older and stranger than you might think. When you think of old, here, around Kirkcaldy, you probably think of the incredible sea caves that I visited at Weems. Did you know Kirkcaldy had the largest cluster of Pictish cave carvings in Britain? You can go to the visitor centre or you can go to the caves to see strange Pictish symbols, double discs, animals and most intriguingly, the carving of a small 6-oared boat chipped into the rock. It's thought to be the earliest depiction of a boat in Scotland. You might not be surprised to find Pictish remains around here. Kirkcaldy is a Pictish name after all. Caer is a Pictish for the fort. You'll hear it in lots of place names like Dunacair, Caerlaverock, Crail, Cardonald, Caradon, Carmiley, and of course the fort on the hard hill, Kirkcaldy. I'll take you to that hard hill later, but first, let's go back even further.
Sometimes history pops up in the most unexpected places. And in 1980, workers demolishing a butcher's shop in the high street uncovered a Bronze Age burial site right under the town centre.
They found a human skeleton in a stone kist with prehistoric pottery. And this food vessel from about 2,500 to 1,500 BC. Archaeologists excavated 3 graves at the site, and this was in one of them. Where today's modern shops and car parks replaced a butcher's shop, our ancestors were cooking in bowls like this. That was long before Kirkcaldy existed. But they still had linoleum floors in their kitchens. So when did Kirkcaldy begin? I suppose you could say the town started when it was created a burgh. Burghs were rights to buy and sell and trade stuff created towns. It got folks urbanising, with different folks carrying out their specialist roles. Now, I've seen it suggested that Kirkcaldy was granted a burgh charter as early as 1075. Now, if that is true, that would be mental. That's less than 20 years after Macbeth was king, during the reign of Malcolm, the father of David I, the great burgh creator. Either way, it started as an ecclesiastical burgh, a bit like Glasgow. Just to stoke local rivalry, Kirkcaldy was under the authority of the Abbey of Dunfermline. They'll no be dancing in the streets of Raith to that, will they? 200 years later, Robert the Bruce confirmed Kirkcaldy as one of the Abbey's trading boroughs, its economy driven by its small harbour. By the late Middle Ages, coastal trade in fish, wool, hides, salt and coal saw Kirkcaldy forging trading links across the North Sea, with Baltic timber imported for construction projects like Falkland Palace and Edinburgh Castle. Kirkcaldy was one of the firsts in loads of things. Now, I should say that the theatre next door is the cultural centre that's named after Kirkcaldy's most famous son, Adam Smith, the world-renowned Scottish philosopher who gave us the foundation of modern economics. Not only is it Kirkcaldy's premier cultural venue, it's where on the August the 28th I'll be doing one of the last performances of my stand-up show, Scotland Made the World. So, if you want Scottish history with more laughs than I can possibly fit into this video, then click the link top right or in the description below, or go to www.brucefummey.co.uk and share this with everyone else in Kirkcaldy. I'll see you back here on the 28th of August. Another way Kirkcaldy got in the act early was witchcraft. And of course, when they say witches in Fife, that's someone who can count. They say that in 1175, a wee boy was born here at Balwearie, where the ruins of his family castle stand today. He would grow up to be Sir Michael Scott of Balwearie. After study at the Cathedral School of Durham, he went on to universities of Oxford and Paris, Bologna, then the Cosmopolitan Court of Palermo in Sicily. Philosophy, theology, mathematics and astrology. He was a polymath who translated Arabic, Latin and the language of Uncle Tom Cobley. You might not understand that. Michael was one of the learned men at the court of the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II. Now, Greek philosophy had been lost to the West in the Dark Ages and was only preserved because of Muslim scholars. Well, Michael was part of the translation team at Toledo who translated Arabic scientific texts into Latin, bringing the works of Aristotle and his likes to the West, leading to Renaissance. His linguistic skills and understanding of secret Eastern knowledge gained him a reputation across Europe. Whereas in Fife, they thought, he could do algebra, he must be a wizard, eh? It wasn't just Fifers. Michael Scott, the boy from Kirkcaldy, was named as a wizard in Dante's Divine Comedy. If I'd mentioned no other first from Kirkcaldy, then just let that one sink in. The only Scot in Dante's Inferno portrayed as a wizard. That other there, whose ribs pressed scanty space, was Michael Scott, who of verity knew the game of magical deceit. How many folks from Glenrothes can say that, eh? His list of academic writings and achievements were immense. But border legends claim that Michael learned magic and how to summon spirits across great distances in the mystic cave of Salamanca in Spain. Down in the borders, it was said that Michael commanded a demon to split the Eildon Hill into 3 peaks to demonstrate his power. When he came across a coven of witches, he used sorcery to change them to stone. They're still there to this day as the standing stones in Cumbria called Long Meg and her daughters. Apparently, he could summon delicacies and fancy dishes from kitchens of the King of France or the Sultan of Babylon, whisking them to Scotland by spirit servants. His guests marvelled at foods and wines appearing out of thin air. Some say that it's the same necromancy that to this day allows Pommies in the Esplanade to sell chicken chow mein, kebabs, pizza, fajitas, burgers and fried chicken, or a 16-inch munchie box for under 20 quid. Some say that Michael Scott outwitted Satan himself by giving one of his demons the impossible task of spinning ropes from sand. Having toiled in vain, the demons summoned the devil himself. Michael tricked Satan into this never-ending chore on the sands of Kirkcaldy shore. Old Nick finally died of frustration here on Kirkcaldy beach. Some say the deal's deed and buried in Kirkcaldy. But I want to take you forward to the 15th century and the castle behind me. Remember I said that the name Kirkcaldy came from the fort of the Hard Hill? Well, this is the fort on the Hard Hill, or today's replacement, Ravenscraig Castle. Kirkcaldy had a royal castle. By the 15th century, Kirkcaldy was becoming famous for coal. By the shore, they used that coal to evaporate seawater in salt pans. But as well as trading salt, coal and fish with the Low Countries, Kirkcaldy was making another exchange. It's where James II found a wife, Mary of Gelders. Then he acquired the lands here, and in 1460 started to build a castle for his new wife. But a few months after construction started, James stood next to an exploding cannon while besieging the English at Roxburgh. Dope! So it was widowed Mary herself who pressed on with construction. And I believe this was the first royal castle built by a woman. Tell me in the comments if you know different. Now, she never saw the castle finished either. She died in 1463, with only the East Tower and Central Range foundations finished. But the completion of this has an interesting connection to the completion of Scotland as we know it. You see, when Mary's son, James III, got married, his new wife's dowry brought Orkney and Shetland under Scottish control. And because James wanted lands up there to himself, he swapped Ravenscraig Castle with the Sinclair Earls of Orkney. It was the Sinclairs who transformed this from a queen's residence to a sturdy artillery bastion whose ruins stand here today. By the 16th century, all that coal mining, fish salting and continental trading was rushing ahead at pace and producing prosperity. Kirkcaldy was confirmed as a royal burgh in 1644. And Volunteers Green here was part of the common moor granted to the town with that royal borough status. The good burghers of Kirkcaldy could use these public lands for drying locally manufactured linen, communal gatherings and all that kind of stuff. By the 17th century, the growing borough was importing spices from Spain. And with local coal and shipbuilding, a new industry took root in Kirkcaldy: nail making. There are still nail bars around the town to this day. But I'm talking iron nails. Blacksmith guilds appeared around the town, but like lots of Scottish towns at the time, so was small-scale textile weaving, hence the locally made linen. But life in this coastal town wouldn't all be plain sailing. The Reformation of the 16th century led to the religious conflict of 17th century Covenanters, Charles I, Oliver Cromwell and the Wars of the Three Kingdoms. Kirkcaldy folks backed the Covenanters. In 1645, the town lost over 250 men at the Battle of Kilsyth, and many more died in those Wars of the Three Kingdoms. Commerce was devastated. Cromwell's occupation saw Kirkcaldy trading fleet reduced from 100 ships in the 1640s to just a dozen 20 years later. In 1650, Oliver Cromwell's army was in Scotland. Legend has it that in the middle of a Sunday service here, a dishevelled old woman stood up disturbing the sermon, declaring that a nearby hill would run blood before sunset. And that very evening, news arrived that Covenanter forces had been slaughtered at the bloody Battle of Dunbar. Was she mad? A doomsayer? A witch? Did it even happen? What it does show is the fearful mood in the town when enemy armies and witches were the two spectres haunting public imagination. Witch fever hit Scotland hard, and Kirkcaldy was no exception. In 1633, Alison Dick and her husband William Coke were hauled before the church elders when their neighbours accused them of casting curses. Alison denied the charges, but after days, locked up in the church steeple, kept awake by paid guards to wear her down, she finally broke. She confessed to making a pact with the devil 2 or 3 years earlier, claiming that her own husband had urged her into it by saying that he had given her soul and body to the devil. The Kirk session heard neighbours' testimony painting Alison as a menace to the area. One witness swore that after a dispute over money, Alison urinated against the cellar door while cursing them. It's not a nice image, but you've got to admire the physical dexterity. After Alison had cocked a leg and cursed them, that household's stores and meals inexplicably spoiled. I'm not sure that's entirely inexplicable. But their horse fell ill and died as well. And somebody else accused Alison of magically sinking a ship to ruin somebody's livelihood. I don't know Alison Dick's ultimate fate, but in 1633, given Scotland's harsh witch laws, it probably wasn't a happy one. This wasn't her first offence either. Kirkcaldy records tell us that the minister in town paid 36 shillings to keep Alison and William jailed during accusations 10 years earlier. But it wasn't just witches that were incarcerated. I said Kirkcaldy had developed a burgeoning industry of weaving. Later, in the 18th century, linen weaving became huge, with flax yarn imported from Bremen or Hamburg. Coarse linen cloth replaced coal and salt, because clothes made out of coal and salt were so 15th century. The growing class of linen manufacturers and merchants joined the older coal barons and lairds in the town's social hierarchy. When Daniel Defoe visited Fife around 1700, he described Kirkcaldy as a larger, more populous and better built town than any on this coast. By the 1770s, Kirkcaldy would have more than 700 handlooms making 140,000 yards of checks and coarse linen cloth each year. As export to England grew, Kirkcaldy checks became a staple for clothing and furnishing. But amid Kirkcaldy's buzzing economy, here's a tale. In 1737, the town council ordered that pigs wandering the high street be rounded up and jailed. That's right! The biggest threat to Kirkcaldy wasn't witches or English invasion, it was bacon. They set up an actual pig prison. Apparently, pigs in the street were causing mayhem. Supposedly, some enterprising swine, and when I say enterprising swine, I mean a group of pigs, not some arsehole that had set up a business. The enterprising swine had learned to nudge open shop doors, come in and steal vegetables. Well, this thieving couldn't be allowed to continue. The council minutes sternly decreed that sundry swine found at large should be held incarcerate until their owner came in and paid the pig ransom. But as the 18th century went on, Kirkcaldy would face the threat of a very different intruder. Did you know that in 1779, the American Revolutionary War rebellion hit Kirkcaldy? It did so in the form of another Scotsman, John Paul Jones. who'd become a treacherous American pirate. If you want to hear that story, then let me know in the comments section and I'll make another video all about that. But let me finish off with 3 quirks of Kirkcaldy. You won't be surprised that with its centuries of industry, of shipbuilding, coal mining, mill workers, potters, engineers, brewers and linoleum workers, a distinct working class culture emerged in Kirkcaldy. The town would elect Willie Gallagher as a communist MP. But earlier than that, it gained a reputation for progressive education and civics. And as a borough school, founded in 1582, evolved into Kirkcaldy High School, Kirkcaldy also opened one of Scotland's first mechanics institutes for workers' evening education. That was in 1843. Also, in the early 1900s, the town saw all-electric lighting. Now, it wasn't the first to have electric street lighting, but the comprehensive coverage of the street lighting in Kirkcaldy made it unique. Locals were so mesmerised that one old lady said she could finally knit at midnight by the glow. That glow continues when neon lights of the Links Market stretch along this shore, a far cry from the 13th century market started here all those years ago. When I typed into Google, what is the main town in Fife? It said Dunfermline is the biggest town and Glenrothes is the administrative centre. Which do you think's the main town in Fife? Now, I love the heritage quarter of the history of Dunfermline, but this town has provided so many firsts, so many key events, from prehistoric to early boroughs to one of our greatest philosophers to innovating industries, one of the longest running fairs that's grown over the centuries to a Labour Prime Minister. In fact, Kirkcaldy has seen too many events in Scotland's history for me to fit them into a single video. If you tell me that you want another video about more of the remarkable history of Kirkcaldy, then when it's made, it'll come up on screen now. Until then, there'll be one about Dunfermline. Now the blue touch paper's been lit, I better run. If you enjoyed this video, then hype it, share it and watch the next one. And tell your pals to come and see my show in Kirkcaldy. In the meantime, ha míon dóchas go mbeadh liom. Cheerio and Rasta.